Earthquakes are scary. Earthquakes can destroy cities. Earthquakes can take lives. But have you ever wondered why they happen? There are two primary reasons why earthquakes occur. The first reason is due to the Earth's internal dynamics and its structure. The second reason is due to external factors related to how the Earth's crust interacts with the rest of the planet. We'll be focusing on the first reason in this episode. If you've watched any of our videos before, you may know that the Earth is divided into several layers. It has a core, a mantle, and a crust. The crust and the uppermost part of the mantle together are called the lithosphere. And the lithosphere is broken into several pieces, called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly moving, although very slowly, at about 2 centimeters per year. This is about the same speed as your fingernails grow. But what causes these plates to move? Well, it's the heat from the Earth's core. Heat from deep within the Earth. As core makes the rock and the mantle behave like a very thick liquid called magma. The heat makes the rock flow very slowly, and this slow churning motion drags the plates on top of it along for the ride. The energy released by the Earth's core also creates significant forces within the Earth's crust. So we have all these gigantic slabs of rock, called continental plates, floating on a hot magma sea, constantly moving and sometimes colliding with each other. So the reason why earthquakes happen is primarily due to the constant movement and collision of these tectonic plates. But why do those plates suddenly slip and grind against each other? Let's see if we can answer that question. The edges where these tectonic plates meet are called faults. Faults are weak points in the Earth's crust. Faults are what allow the plates to slide past each other. Faults are also one of the most common places where earthquakes happen. There are 3 types of faults: normal faults, reverse faults, and strike-slip faults. The majority of earthquakes occur along strike-slip faults. That's because along these faults, the plates can get caught and stress builds up until the rocks break and the plates suddenly slip. For example, the San Andreas Fault in California is a strike-slip fault. California sits on the edge of the North American Plate and the Pacific Plate. These two plates are moving in opposite directions. The Pacific Plate is moving roughly northwest, while the North American Plate is relatively stationary. Because of this relative motion, the Pacific Plate is sliding past the North American Plate along the San Andreas Fault. Most of the time, the rocks along this fault don't just slide smoothly past one another. Instead, the rocks get stuck on each other. As more and more stress builds up, the rocks eventually break, and the Pacific Plate abruptly slips past the North American Plate. This sudden slip releases energy and causes an earthquake. Reverse faults, also known as thrust faults, occur where 2 plates are colliding. As one plate moves under the other, the rocks on the fault become compressed and bent. When the stress exceeds the strength of the rocks, they break, and the rocks slip. Normal faults occur where 2 plates are moving away from each other. As the plates move apart, the rocks on the fault become tensional. When the tension exceeds the strength of the rocks, they break and the rocks slip. Now, even though faults are the most common place for earthquakes to occur, they're not the only place. There are some other secondary causes that are much less common. One way an earthquake can occur is through volcanic activity. Magma pushing up from below the Earth's crust can cause the crust to bulge. When the crust can no longer support the weight of the magma, it can collapse, and this sudden collapse can trigger an earthquake. Another way is through human activities such as mining or fracking. Removing large amounts of underground water or creating underground cavities for natural gas can cause the roof of the cavity to collapse, triggering an earthquake. Let's wrap up this episode with a brief summary of everything we've learned. In short, earthquakes happen due to the movement and collision of tectonic plates. The Earth's core generates heat, and the heat makes the rock and the mantle behave like a thick liquid called magma. The convection currents in the magma cause the tectonic plates to move. The edges of these plates meet at faults. Most of the time, the rocks along these faults don't just slide smoothly past one another. Instead, the rocks get stuck. As more stress builds up, the rocks eventually break, and the plates suddenly slip. This sudden slip releases energy and causes an earthquake. Sometimes the energy from the sudden slip radiates outwards from the point of the slip and can trigger landslides or tsunamis. The vast majority of earthquakes happen beneath the oceans where we can't detect them. However, occasionally the energy from deep within the Earth reaches the ocean floor and is released upwards in the form of a tsunami. The last such event was the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami caused by a 9.1 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. I hope you enjoyed learning about why earthquakes happen. If you did, please consider subscribing and giving this episode a thumbs up. You can also click the bell icon to ensure you never miss out on any of our future episodes. Thanks for watching.